Hey guys, I'm going to be making a casual review of Black Ops 7, going over my thoughts on the campaign, endgame, multiplayer, and zombies. Also, I did want to talk about my Silent Hill review, the Silent Hill F review. I don't know why I didn't add actual footage of the game. I think I was just really tired, and when I get really tired, I just don't think about what I'm doing, but I could have easily just put in anything to substitute for the gameplay I put. I don't know why I did that. Hopefully I don't do that again if I ever make more reviews. But anyways, I wanted to rate Black Ops 7 with a 6.5 out of 10. You know, it is what it is. I don't think anyone's gonna argue with that. Starting with the campaign, I really felt like it departed a lot from the campaign identity, especially for Black Ops. It was just super crazy and weird, completely out of place. Felt like it relied too much on the cradle and hallucinations to try and create conflict and like to move the story forward, but it just didn't feel effective. I just felt like it was weird. It just didn't really make sense. I felt like the hallucinations didn't really impact the story in any way. A lot of them were just completely, mainly irrelevant. Kind of went over every character's like fears and how to fight them, I guess. I don't know, I guess it was supposed to be figurative of them fighting their fears or something, which was kind of dumb. For two of the characters, they're characters that we just don't know, so we don't really care about them too much. We don't really care about their fears, helping them fight it. Then the fears for Harper and David Mason were just really weird. Like super strange. And the way they like go over these events is strange. Like it's so monotone. Like ultimately nothing changed. It just, oh yeah, we kind of didn't want that to happen. Now that the fight is over, I'm over it. You know, like there's not really much to it. It's really weird. Then they also had hallucinations for Woods and like Mason sort of, which was really strange because it's like, again, how does this matter to the story? Also, the stuff for David and Harper was just kind of dumb. Like, I don't really see why they would be so hung up on the stuff that they were upset about. It's just really strange, really strange. I didn't like that they basically made the entire story about the cradle and the hallucinations. Thought it was pretty lazy and just dumb in general. I know Black Ops 6 introduced like the hallucination events, but it was really, I think it was just like 2 missions where they did that. And it was more so just like a fun little, I don't want to say Easter egg, but just something extra. You had the one mission with the zombies, and it's just, you know, messing around killing zombies. The other one where it's sort of exploring the mind of, I forgot the character, but it's just sort of exploring the mind of one of the characters, and it happens alongside the final fight. So it doesn't take a large part of the campaign, and it's kind of just fun. And here, it's a massive portion of the campaign. It's pretty much all the campaign, and it's just kind of dumb. Also, it's kind of weird that the story had to take place after Black Ops 2. The characters are pretty much irrelevant to the story. They could have really had any set of characters and they could have just done whatever they wanted. They didn't need to have the story be taking place after Black Ops 2. Me personally, I was really excited for a continuation to Black Ops 6's story. I really liked the characters and I really liked the Black Ops 6 campaign. I thought it was really fun. And to be honest, they could have taken advantage of that. Well, I don't know how everyone else feels, but they could have used those characters to explore these topics, and I feel like it would actually have an impact for the players since we know these characters, and for the story in general. They could have actually, well, I don't know if they could have actually done something different, but they could have tried to do something. They did introduce a lot of boss fights in this game, which, I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of. I think it's really difficult to implement boss fights in a game like Call of Duty, especially the more, I don't know what you would call it, on the ground game modes like multiplayer, you know, campaign. Zombies is something else, but for the campaign it was kind of strange. A lot of them were just completely whack. I think everyone knows obviously about the Harper boss fight where he turns into a giant and you have to fight him. The first boss you fight is Menendez, and it's just really strange because you're fighting a boss and he's like teleporting around, throwing giant machetes at you, and it's like super weird. Like, I get that Call of Duty isn't the most realistic game, but this just doesn't really make sense to the identity of campaigns, in my opinion. Like, you could say something about like maybe Black Ops 3, but I feel like most people didn't really like Black Ops 3's campaign that much either, so I don't know why they had to do this again. Then you also had like a plant boss fight, which was also really weird. It was kind of like a bullet sponge that threw random projectiles at you. Obviously there's the Harper boss fight. Again, same thing, you're just shooting him a lot. He slams his hands on the ground and you have to jump over the shockwaves. I think all of these fights have, obviously, what do people call them? Ads? Like little enemies you have to fight. It's just kind of it, just shooting them, fighting the enemies, avoiding projectiles, that's it. Then you also fight one of the characters, so spoiler alert, I guess, but Razor turns out to be a traitor. He's one of the characters in the game, and you have to fight him, and it's kind of similar to Menendez. He teleports around, and it's just really shooting an enemy with a ton of health. Like, he does some random things, I guess. He puts up a shield. Sometimes you get shot with like missile strikes or something, but it's overall just really strange, especially because the Razor fight is supposed to be like a real fight. It's you're actually fighting Razor, but it's like assisted with hallucinations, so it's kind of like, how does that work? It's really weird. Then you do fight like VTOLs. Those ones are the ones where I'm like more okay with. They feel more Call of Duty-ish, if that makes sense. You're fighting a giant airship and you're supposed to avoid it shooting you and just keep on blasting at it, like whatever. And then the final boss fight was just like these kind of like Metal Gear machine things. Actually, I guess they're supposed to be called Metal Gears. Well, whatever. But anyways, you fight machines that look like Metal Gears, which is fine. It was kind of cheesy how the characters sort of beat these war machines and then they run up to it. Or it was one, I think her name is 50, and then she like forces them to shoot the missiles, which is kind of weird. Again, I get it's not realistic. It's never been realistic. It's a video game, but it's still kind of strange to watch. They do sort of implement upgrades in the campaign. You start off with nothing, but then you get like plate upgrades, health upgrades, damage upgrades, which is fine. But the problem is, at first, enemies really feel like damage sponges. I feel like you have to put in a lot of bullets to fight even just the base enemies. Later on with damage upgrades it gets easier, but at first it's kind of a slog. They also used the Warzone map on some of the missions, which was really boring. I don't really want to be playing on the Warzone map. It just, to me, it just looks boring. Also, the way, like the vibe of the game is just, I mean, the campaign is just really cheesy and dumb. Like, a lot of the character interactions almost sound like they were made with ChatGPT. Like, the characters are just super like quippy and unserious. I feel like almost every single line has to have some kind of like quip or one-liner or whatever you want to call it. It's weird. It's so dumb. It's so weird. I hate it. I hate how the characters talk to each other. I remember like with the Razor boss fight, the way he pops in is super like weird and cinematic. Like he's in a helicopter or something and he just talks to the characters even though he's super far away. It's so weird. It's so like, I don't know what you would call it, like B-list movie or whatever. It's super weird. I just hated whenever a character would open their mouth and talk. But yeah, overall, the campaign was just boring in my opinion. Super cheesy. Honestly, I didn't think it was worth playing. I didn't like it. It was dumb. They shouldn't have had it be a continuation in the Black Ops series. They shouldn't have even had it to begin with. I don't know what they were doing with the campaign. It's really weird. I didn't like it. Now for endgame, it's kind of like a DMZ experience, I guess, with like Modern Warfare 3 zombie elements. I'm not a big fan of DMZ, never really played much of it. I didn't really care too much. So this game really is not for me. I think I only played like 2 matches total and that's it. So maybe someone who really likes it might tell me that I didn't really get to experience what it offered, maybe. But from what I played, I just didn't really like it. The missions were kind of just, you know, classic, go here, destroy these enemies or kill these enemies, pick this up, defend this, blah blah, you know? I didn't really care. The world also just felt very empty. You know, it's like a big massive map and there's just these little areas with concentrations of enemies and I didn't really care for it. I did think the way the character would level up was cool. You know, you level up and you can choose between 2 different abilities or upgrades, which I thought was neat. And obviously this game, because it's, I guess you could say it's like an extraction game. Yeah, DMZ is like an extraction game. Obviously you can improve your character, make it easier to go further, because there's like 3 zones, right? Go further in the zones and do more. But I just didn't feel incentivized to do that. I didn't care. Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really play much of it. It's not my thing. I don't know how it would compare with DMZ. I also didn't really play DMZ much, but overall, I didn't really think it was that fun. It was kind of boring in my opinion. As for multiplayer, I'll be honest, I'm not a multiplayer guy. It's not really one of the ones that I play the most. And for multiplayer, it's the same thing as always. It's not any different from any other year of Call of Duty in my opinion. I think the only thing they really did different was they have like the level ups for like, I forget what you call it, but your special ability and for your grenades. So you can, oh, and score streaks, you can level them up and they have like a little upgrade you can add on to them, which is alright. It's cool, I guess. They also reintroduced prestiging weapons, which I'll be honest, I kind of like. I don't know why. I just find it satisfying to prestige my weapons. It's just something cool. I will say, with how many levels some of the weapons have, it does feel a little tedious if you're someone who actually wants to prestige your weapons. But it's neat. Apart from that, it's kind of same old, same old. They do have like those new, like, I forget what they call it, but if you get a bunch of the same perks, you get like an ultimate package thing, whatever. And they have the mix-ups where you can have a mix-up of perks and still get passive bonuses or whatever. But apart from that, it's not really anything special. But again, I'm not a multiplayer guy, so maybe people who do play multiplayer really liked it. I didn't care. They also messed around with the skill-based matchmaking. Apparently, I'm not sure, I think apparently it's only like a very minimal influence that the skill-based matchmaking has on the players. When I initially played it, or the game modes with no skill-based matchmaking or whatever, I didn't really like it. I feel like the main people who complain about skill-based matchmaking are search and destroy players. I don't know if anyone else really complained about it. Personally, the way I felt was just either you're on a team with people annihilating the other team, or you're on a team that's getting absolutely destroyed. I feel like I didn't really play a match where it was in between. Maybe it's just me, but I didn't play a match where I felt like it was fair, or even if I'm on the team that's destroying the other team, that I even got to do anything. I don't play search and destroy, so maybe that's why to me it just felt horrible. They do have one playlist with skill-based matchmaking, so you know you can play that if you're like me and you're kind of okay with it. However, I know this is like a thing people laugh at, but I am the type of person who just plays like Nuketown 24/7, Shipment 24/7, that kind of stuff when it's multiplayer. But Nuketown 24/7 is one of the ones that has the no skill-based matchmaking, so I don't even touch it anymore. I've never cared about the skill-based matchmaking stuff, so the fact that they have so much focus on it not being there, like, sure, I'm sure people are happy with it, but I wish they had a few more playlists without it. I mean, with skill-based matchmaking. Now for zombies is what I play the most. It's basically the reason that I buy Call of Duty. They started off with Ashes of the Dam for the maps, and it was alright. I'm not a big fan of maps that are massive. I think they were trying to go for like a transit feel. I don't care. I mean, I'm neutral about it. I think some of the POIs are fun to mess around in, but I don't really like that it's like a massive map. You have to travel from one POI to another. I don't really care too much. It's not a bad map, but it's not a concept that I care too much about. Then they also introduced Astra with Season 1. I actually think Astra Malorum, I think that's what it's called, is fine. It's a fun map. It's not that, well, it is a decently sized map, but it's not very complicated. Not really much I can say. I mean, it's cool that it's in space and all that. They also have survival maps, so just a really small map for people who just like, I guess, camo grinding or just going in to kill zombies for a little bit and leaving. So, you know, it's cool. They did introduce more augments and Wisp Tea, the new perk, which is nice. I don't like using perks that kill zombies for you. I don't know why. It's just always been something weird about me. I do like that they introduced more augments and that you can choose 2 minor augments. Thought that was cool. Something that I want to work towards, I guess. They also introduced Ravagers in the game, which I actually really like the Ravagers. I like that they eat the like equipment and stuff that you leave on the ground, and then they turn it into scrap, or I forgot what it's called, which I think is really neat, so I kind of like them. But overall, it's not really anything new to zombies. For some final thoughts on Black Ops 7, I do think they should try to work on, like, spin-off sounds weird with a series like Call of Duty, but working on different series within Call of Duty. Because I feel like right now what they're doing is they're mainly working off of fan loyalty. You know, like Black Ops 7 is basically Black Ops 2, you know? It has the characters from Black Ops 2. It happens after Black Ops 2, you know? You know these characters? Raul Menendez, David Mason, they're here, you know, like it's kind of dumb. They're trying to like play off nostalgia in my opinion. I think it, and with like a lot of the things that they're trying out, I think they should really just create a new series to try out these new things. You know, like they're relying too much on Black Ops and like the Warfare titles in my opinion. I think them going for like cinematic boss fights, which is what I think they're trying to do, doesn't work. I don't like it. Just stick to killing a bunch of enemies, story stuff, and just, you know, messing around. I didn't care for the boss fights. I just don't care. I don't think they should go for that. And if they do, then at least try to make it something relevant to the story, you know, and not something super whack, like having them teleport around. If they're just humans, but oh, you're hallucinating them teleporting around or whatever. If they are going to continue with like the Black Ops series, I think they should focus more on like the tech stuff instead of the hallucination stuff. I really liked kind of the direction they kind of took with like the final boss, for example, where they had sort of like the metal gears. If they went in that direction and went to fight giant robots, I think it would be cool. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't complain about it. I do remember, maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure Cold War and, you know, eventually Black Ops 6 was kind of supposed to be like a soft reboot, wasn't it? So, I mean, I don't think anyone would mind if they decided to retcon Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 and just, you know, did that, you know, Metal Gear type stuff. I think it'd be fun, but that's just me. Something that I've always thought about, especially with now that they wanted to do really like surreal things with like the hallucinations, is what if they just made their own like Call of Duty magical warfare or something, you know, or magic ops or whatever they want to do, you know, something that's like a universe with magic, which I know a lot of people would get like really weird about because Call of Duty is not a mil sim, but a lot of people treat it kind of like that because it's like, oh, it's supposed to be sort of realistic. I guess it's more like it's not a hero shooter, you know, so I guess that's their logic. I wouldn't want Call of Duty to turn into a hero shooter. I think they should stick more to the basics, but I wouldn't mind if they made like a different universe, introducing like concepts like magic, you know, I don't know, not even like abilities, just more so the vibe, if that makes sense. Have like the weapons be crossbows or weird mixtures of modern weapons with ancient stuff or whatever. I think I've always thought it would be something very interesting. I know most people probably wouldn't, but if they want to really explore these like weird cradle stuff, I think they should just go in that direction to actually have it mean something and not just be a bunch of hallucinations that overall don't do anything for the plot. A point that's already been said by other people is that the game just feels like Black Ops 6 is basically just Black Ops 6.5, which is completely true. Especially like since I play like zombies, for instance, I don't really care for multiplayer in the other game modes. It really does feel like it's just Black Ops 6. Like there's really not much of a difference at all. Specifically zombies again. Like sure, they introduced new concepts with like multiplayer and the end game, which to be fair, it's not that much different, just a few different concepts. But specifically like zombies, it's really the same. So yeah, it does kind of feel a little lazy in my opinion overall with everything they did, how similar it feels to Black Ops 6, the story, the fact that I'm pretty sure they're just using nostalgia. It's kind of not, it's not a good title. It's not a good entry. Being honest, I didn't really expect much from this Call of Duty entry. I genuinely had zero expectations and I was still disappointed. I think this is going to be the last Call of Duty I'd buy unless a new COD has like a zombie mode. But even in that case, I'll probably just wait for like a sale before I buy the game. I've never really been someone who like buys the game on release, especially Call of Duties. I only really started doing that for like the past few years, maybe not even the past few years, like the past 2 years. But honestly, I've learned my lesson, especially with this one. The past few CODs I kind of liked. I thought there was enough to differentiate them, but this one was the one where I truly put my foot down and I'm just like, yeah, no more. I did hear that apparently they're changing their methods, I think, where now they're actually gonna not do yearly releases, which I actually think is either one, a really good thing, or two, a bad thing, because now they're just gonna be lazy, but we're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer for their lazy slop. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're actually gonna try with more time between releases. I would hope. But yeah, I lost my faith with this title. Which is, I think, saying a lot because I am a bit of a Call of Duty addict. I'm the type of person where I don't really care, I'll buy it. But this one truly just disappointed me. Which, again, it's Call of Duty. That's not really saying much. But yeah, obviously that's why I didn't rate it very high. Not really a new experience, anything fun. The only reason the rating is a 6.5 is just because of the zombies. I think if they didn't have zombies or the zombies was bad, this would be extremely low. Like, I genuinely would recommend to not buy it. Like, it's just not great. But the zombies is fine, so that's why I put it at a 6.5. But anyways, that's kind of it. I kind of hesitated to call it a casual review because as a COD fan, this was not very casual, especially because of how I felt about the game. But to be fair, I'm sure there are people who feel a lot more strongly than I do. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and bye.